The motivating factors in learning the English language among BS and freshies of Mindoro State University. The problem and its background. English is regarded as the world's most widely spoken language. We could converse and interact with people from all over the world using the English language. Students could learn more about the English, which they could utilize to pursue jobs both inside and outside of the country. The English language may also be a key to unlocking a person's true potential in terms of speaking, writing, and listening abilities. The researchers agree that motivation is one of the most important variables influencing second language learning. Motivation is the primary reason for beginning to study a second language, as well as the driving factor to persevere through the long and often complex learning process. Meanwhile, in Latin American contexts, particularly in Colombia, regarded the motivation as linked to a lack of practice and communication in English. The findings of Pinson of 2011 revealed that the teacher's teaching approach and the fear of being mocked by other pupils were the two most common demotivating influences. In Asia, they discovered that the most relevant demotivating elements were loss of enthusiasm and interest, difficulties in English learning, and class features. In addition, Lee of 2011 concluded that a student's progress to a higher degree and gain experiences in previous institute, their motivation decreases significantly. In Philippines, there are numerous issues that demotivate them from learning English. Confidence, fear of making mistakes, demotivated teachers, and the lack of resources are among them. Although the motivation cannot be totally eliminated, teachers can help students feel less pressure and anxious by using personalized teaching strategies. Learners' attitudes about the English language were among the characteristics of the students. In this case, it was determined that students' demotivation stemmed from a lack of vocabulary, difficulty of memorizing words and phrases, a lack of opportunities to practice English, a fear of speaking English, a low grade, and the belief that there were other subjects more important for them to study, such as mathematics and science. This study will focus on the learner's individual experiences with the motivating elements that affect their English language acquisition among the Mindoro State University BS Ed freshies. Statement of the problem. This study aims to analyze the demotivating factors in learning the English language among BS Ed freshies of Mindoro State University. It specifically seeks to answer the following questions. Number 1. What demotivating factors do BS Ed freshies experience in English class? Number 2. How has the students' motivation for learning English been changed? Number 3. What are the teaching strategies employed by the teachers to lessen the demotivation factors? And number 4. Based on the findings of the study, what intervention could be proposed to address the demotivating factors in learning English among BS Ed freshies?
Statement of the hypothesis. This study will test the following null hypothesis. There are not any significant differences regarding the demotivating factors of BS Ed freshies which major are Filipino, Math, and Science due to their major of learning the English language.
Theoretical framework. Our study is anchored to the following theory, so these theories reflected were crucial to strengthen the claims of the study. Incorporating these theories was to justify the hypothesis of the study at hand. So according to Vygotsky in 1978, the sociocultural theory gave birth to the activity theory. So the basic principles of meditation and contradictions are incorporated. So according to Cole 1976, the indirect association established between the external stimuli and the people's approval of various meditational resources is referred to as meditation. So it asserts that human activity is realized through the interaction between the individuals in the social context. So it is the result of the conflict between the components of the activity system. So the inconsistency would have a negative impact on the learner's effort to participate in the learning activity system. slowing or preventing the realization of the activity's significance to the learner. So according to Lantol 2000 and Gao 2010, this interaction is realized through meditational tools such as learning discourse, cultural artifacts, and material condition and important social agent. So, the antagonistic relationship among the components of the activity system is known as contradiction, according to Corti 1996. So, the components of the activity system fluctuate as the external environment changes, which might lead to inconsistency among them. So, according to Lee 2015, the motivation in this context is described as the social mediated phenomenon in which the perception of importance of language acquisition is hampered or slowed by a conflict between the components of the activity system in which the learners are involved. So, it is the result of the conflict between the components of the activity system. And according to expectancy value theory of achievement, motivation possesses that the overall tendency to succeed in a given circumstances is determined by two stable motives, a motive for success and a motive to avoid failure, as well as the subjective assessment of the scenario's change of success. So, by the time adults reach adulthood, the desire for achievement is viewed as the relatively consistent psychological trait. So, one's motivation for success is thought to be derived from either achievement scenarios in which the individuals has excelled. And as a result, so someone who has had a lot of positive experiences in the past in regarding to be a very goal-oriented, and by maturity, the motivation to avoid failure is thought to be rather constant, and it is a compilation of previous instances in which the achievement's behavior failed. So it is claimed that someone who has failed numerous times in achieving setting development or develops a strong desire to avoid failing. And according to cognitive theories of motivation, behavior is guided as a result of active information, processing, and interpretation. So, motivation is viewed as a purposeful and persistent set of behavior based on the information provided rather than a mechanical or the natural set of processes. So, expectations are used to guide behaviors toward a certain goals based on the previous expectation. So, this theory attempts to explain our action as a result of diligent study, active processing, and interpretation of information received, such as viewpoint contradicts of the rationalization of our activities as outcome of program principles or innate mechanism involving drives, desire, and reaction. So, our action are result of conscious cognitive processes such as beliefs, expectation, knowledge about objects, and past experiences in addition to what motivates us to in such specific acts. Conceptual framework. Our conceptual framework consists of three major parts: the input, the process, and the output. So the first block consists of input, which are the motivating factors of BSED Fresh's experience during the English class. How has the students' motivations for learning English has been changed, and the teaching strategies employed by the teachers to lessen the demotivating factors. On the other hand, the second box shows the research process on gathering the needed data by using an online in-depth interview with the participants through the use of online platforms available and by giving an online questionnaire. Lastly, the output contains the proposed action plan by conducting a webinar tackling the cause and effect of demotivation on the learning of English language. At the same time, its solution that will further enhance the understanding of BSED Freshies of Mindoro State University.
Synthesis of literature review. The prior literature defined the different demotivating factors affecting the English language acquisition among students. Different earlier researches, notably their relevance and significance, as well as academic studies from many sectors and perspectives, supports the variables provided in this study. The foreign literatures aim to analyze the various elements that hinder learners' motivation when learning the English language. Students' motivation and learning are affected by both intrinsic and external factors. According to WHO of 2011, demotivation has a long-term negative impact on students' willingness to study English. In this regard, Jung of 2011 stated that one of the key reasons why learners are demotivated to learn English is their degree of advancement. Grammar is one of the key reasons why students do not pursue studying since it is difficult to comprehend, resulting in low exam scores. Unfavorable language behavior, on the other hand, was identified as one of the internal causes. Apart from reasons stated previously, Kushabara of 2018 discovered 4 factors that demotivated students from studying English. Number 1, student characteristics. Number 2, textbooks and activities. 3, peers, and number 4, teacher. The key factor is the student's attitude toward learning English language, which includes shyness, a lack of desire to study, memory issues, and low English scores, all of which contribute to their lack of motivation to learn English. The textbooks are typically constructed of long paragraphs and texts that contain a complex grammar structure, which is why students are reluctant to read and comprehend them. Classmates often make fun of and ridicule one another, making it difficult to stay motivated to study English. Students find teachers dull, particularly if they speak too quickly in English and use the same instructional aid. Gugatseva of 2015, on the other hand, identified pragmatic and linguistic competency as one of the reasons why students are dissatisfied with their English language acquisition. There are various literatures available in the Philippines linked to the demotivation affecting students' language proficiency, notably in English. Demotivation is caused by a lack of interest and willingness on the part of both students and teachers, according to Plunkett of 2019. Non-English majors are demotivated to study English because of grammar-based training, according to Berse of 2021. It focuses on English rules and structures and is tough to understand for non-English majors, especially because it is heavy on memorization. In Lucas 2016, it was mentioned that one of the reasons why students are demotivated to learn English it is because of the lack of use in various activities outside of the classroom. Different research were also gathered in order to support the many demotivating causes of learning the English language in the instance of the difficulty indicated for this study. Abuansua of 2020 discovered that one of the reasons students feel demotivated is due to the teacher's position and ability. Kankaya of 2018, on the other hand, identified students' character and qualities as one of the reasons for their lack of motivation to learn English. Aydin of 2012 identified 6 primary reasons why pupils are unmotivated to learn English in this situation. Among them were issues with a teaching, curriculum, working conditions, children and their parents, co-workers and school administrators, and physical conditions. Among cases for Philippine context, the study of Jude 2018 revealed that 1. Factors influencing students' English proficiency, such as teachers, subject matter, learning strategies, outside of class learning activities, and personality traits, were highly influential when taken as a whole and grouped. Number 2, significantly differ in the given profile variables. And number 3, these are significantly related to sex, types of school graduated from, parents' educational attainment, economic status, and experience. Kabaltika of 2020 goes on to say that most students are unsure of their capacity to speak in English and that they feel pressure to do well. Both of the aforementioned characteristics are included in the affective component. According to both responses, students were apprehensive about making mistakes while performing the speaking task. The researchers' prior research offered information and statistics on the relationship between the demotivating elements affecting students' language development. Demotivating influences, according to the majority of studies, have a detrimental impact on students' educational advancement. In addition, the findings will make future research collaboration easier.
A qualitative research method will be used in this investigation. Qualitative research, according to Boseto, is the study of nature of phenomena, which includes their quality, various manifestation, the context in which they appear, or the perspective from which they can be perceived, but exclude their range, frequency, and place in an objectively determined chain of cause and effect. The research topic of demotivating factors in English language learning is a descriptive study. Data was gathered using a qualitative method. This study was conducted at Mindoro State University, Calapan Campus, school year 2021 to 2022. BS Ed freshmen from Mindoro State University will make up the study's population. There are 15 responses excluding English major from the various majors. Out of 80 freshies at the College of Teacher Education, 5 responders from the Filipino, mathematics, and science majors will be interviewed. The researchers of this study will use a self-created questionnaire as the primary tool to collect the necessary data. The semi-structured interviews will be conducted using a self-made questionnaire. The questions will be specifically focused on identifying the factors that demotivates BS Ed freshies at Mindoro State University from learning the English language. Furthermore, numerous online platforms to facilitate this instrument, particularly the questionnaire in this pandemic and new normal style of learning. To begin gathering data, the researcher will write a letter to the Dean of Mindoro State University College of Teacher Education. These 2 letters will be used to give final clearance to the data collections or process. Once the study is accepted, the researchers will write a letter to the respondent's advisor as well as the respondents themselves. Following the approval of the mailed letter, the study's chosen respondent will share their opinions and experiences.